Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Vibrators podcast. I'm your host, Julius. I'm here with the boys, Christian and Lorenzo. This is the second part of our three-part series this week. We are watching episode 15 of Attack on Titan. Last episode, I think it ended off with Zeke going further into like his character and background, and seeing the doctor that got him his glasses or whatever, pretty much. So. Yeah, we'll get to see more about Zeke in this episode. And any other thoughts going into it before we start?
I'm just expecting this to be kind of huge. I think at least half of it's going to be backstory because of the whole Zeke thing, right? And judging by the teaser that we saw, I'm assuming that's the case as well. But besides that, I'm not entirely sure what to expect from this. Like, we went from one of the best episodes in the entire season to one of the more mid ones. So what to expect from now, I have no idea. So
dick and balls.
What about you, Lorenzo's laptop? How do you feel about it?
I just said
dick and balls. All right, let's get
dick and balls.
Wow.
Okay, wow. We need to talk about that because that was a lot.
I'm liking Zeke's character now. Like, I thought like this brought like a whole new perspective from like what I was previously trying to like anticipate.
Right.
But like, holy shit, like I like how Zeke and Eren are actually just trying to end everything with like the Titan powers. And I like, the only thing that I'm wondering now is like, why are they going against the world? That type of...
Yeah, I think, to be fair though, he did mention like, oh, we're just trying to save people from like being born. It's like a nihilist approach to it, I guess, where it's just like, if nobody's alive, like we're just saving everybody. That kind of thing. Which I don't know. Like I like, that's the only part that I mean, actually, you know what? I have no complaints with that either. I really hope they don't. Actually, yeah, fuck it. I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, wow, really, really good. I have absolutely no complaints with this entire episode at all. It makes Zeke's character so much more interesting. Like, he was already a pretty good villain, like, beforehand. Like, there's a lot of mystery to him. But now that we know his entire backstory, it's really fleshed out the character in a really good way. And I like how they gave the entire episode to that flashback.
Right.
And then he kills himself.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's
pretty cool.
That one was actually crazy. I like how they ended it off by him just releasing the trigger. I don't know whether because
probably
I
doesn't
don't think he dies, but he does chant off like a final word, like whatever the doctor's name was. I hope you're
the
watching.
Doctor that was like his second dad.
Yeah,
that guy.
Yeah. But holy shit. I like the fact that they showed how he grew up and how crazy Mr. Jaeger was.
Yeah, he was
trying
fucking nuts.
Trying to restore Eldia. And like, I like how Eren, even though he didn't really know the backstory of what Zeke went through, he kind of already understood what was going on and like how to end it. And that that shit was crazy.
Yeah, and I mean talking about the dad specifically, like, it's really interesting because was his dad ever seen in that negative of a light before? Like, in other times, it's just like, he's a scientist. He doesn't like give enough time to his son, that kind of thing. There's probably more that I'm missing, but this is a new side of that character as well when he's on screen.
Yeah, from what I know, he's only been it's been the opposite way around, where Zeke is seen to be the bad guy because he's the one who pointed them out as the traitors. But like, seeing his point of view and then seeing that he's the one who's been abused by them and they don't care about his well-being, and then seeing that happen. And then the fact, like, it's also interesting how he discovered that Eren was Eren's dad is his dad too.
Yeah, and I love that scene at the end where he's like, we're gonna save the world. Are you with me, brother? Like he calls him brother, and there's a slight tear. Like that was such a good fucking
Yeah.
scene. Holy shit. But I was gonna actually mention an earlier scene when we were talking about his dad. That moment where he rats out his parents and they're just like they're walking in that one what is it, a carriage? They're walking in the carriage to be cast off to the Paradise Island. And like the looks on their face just say so much. There were no words throughout that entire scene. It was just pure silence from both of them, and it was so impactful, so
Yeah.
good.
Those facial expressions were fucking like
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, like yeah, I can't even think of anything that makes this episode or like anything I had as a problem with it. You know what I mean? Like it was just it hit every single second it was on screen. Is there anything else we could talk about with this bad boy?
I'm not too sure. There was just a lot of like character building, especially with Zeke, and it just pretty much opened doors to like speculations of what's to come later, because because like previously before we even watched this episode, I had my thoughts dead on like Aaron's being manipulated by Zeke, and Zeke's this mastermind trying to rule the world type of thing.
Right, yeah, that's kind of the gist we've had so far, at least.
But now that we got this type of information, it's actually it made Zeke's character more interesting to see and like collab with Aaron, and like how they're gonna execute their plan to save the world. That type of thing.
Right, and I mean, like it would probably be weirder if we watched like the show before we watched this, because then we would have been like, because I mean, both of them were like sworn enemies throughout most of the series, right? Like,
Yeah.
Aaron was trying to protect that area that he was a part of, that whole city, the island, and Zeke was just trying to fucking demolish everything, and now they're both just trying to like it's so nuts. It's a true what is it? I almost, it's so funny with the Eren Yeager like whole story. It almost gives me, I hate to say this, but Anakin Skywalker vibes.
Anakin Skywalker vibes.
You know what I mean? Like as soon as Eren got a lot of this power, it like went to his head, and Zeke is like in kind of not puppeteering him in any way, but
I think it's not the power, but it's more so like I'm starting to understand that it's not like his powers and like what it could do, but it's more so like his influence and his like mental state in trying to save pretty much everyone.
Actually, what's a funny point that I didn't even think about till just now? Isn't it funny that like when we started this season, and there was that, I think it was the declaration of something, it was like episode 10, or I think it was like episode 5, where like we thought Zeke died, and we were like, wow, they didn't really do anything with that character, and now he's got a whole backstory episode. Like that was a total mind fuck. I was never expecting that.
Yeah, the fact that like when they were at war, or like the current war that they were their sabotage or whatever, and then what's his name?
Zeke?
Levi, sorry. Levi just snaps his nape for like a second, like split second, and then just like explodes him, and then that was the end of it. I was like, wow.
Yeah, we thought he died. It was like, okay, well, I guess they're not doing anything with that character, and then boom, we get this episode, and it's easily one of the best in the entire season.
Yeah. One thing I also like is how Aaron's dad was portrayed. I like how with like a bunch of these outsider views from like Zeke listening in, and like their voices just like in panic saying he needs to do this or else like it's not gonna work out.
It's interesting. Like it's the episode starts off and they're like kind of tame, kind of normal, but then as he keeps failing warrior class or like the warrior training or whatever it was, they get more and more frantic, and they're just like all over the place to the point where they're like screaming at each other.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was good. And then they got shipped away. So
I also feel it feels bad that he didn't want to sell out his parents, but in order to achieve
he
his
had
goal,
to, right?
he had
Like,
to do that.
I mean, realistically though, I mean, even if he like if he was to go back as well, wouldn't his parents go back anyways? It would just be a really bad situation for him altogether, right? Like he would, I think his parents would have left and his grandparents anyway. Like, well, I think his grandparents stayed, but
No,
everyone would
well,
have at least gone.
yeah, pretty much. But like the fact
Yeah.
that since he was being taken care of his grandparents, that influence would make sense and to them not being traitors and what you call it, the parents being the traitors. So
Right, yeah. I didn't end up we didn't see the grandparents afterwards, did we? Like did we
not
have
No,
any
we
really.
scenes with them?
didn't. No.
So I assume they didn't get I don't think they got taken away, but
Probably not.
I don't think so. I
I
just
don't.
don't think
Yeah, but
they're
even
not
then, I don't
important to the
think.
story.
Yeah, they're not important or as important. But yeah, overall, what do you guys think of this episode? Vibe reading.
Well,
wise?
I love it. I have no problems with it. I think it's a great flashback episode. They really flesh out the character of Zeke. I just love everything about it. It's really hard to like you can't really talk about like, oh, the animation was so good, because like it is kind of, I mean, the facial expressions were like amazing, but in terms of like animation, I mean, it's always been this good throughout the show, so I can't really comment on that. But yeah, I think in terms of story and characters and the development of it all and like the stakes and what we learned throughout it, yeah, I'd give it a 5 out of 5. I have no problems with it whatsoever.
Yeah. I think I'll also give it a 5 out of 5. I think this is also fairly on point with the episode 2 episodes ago. Where Gabby got her face punched in, and I think this was really really good in terms of like how they built up this like sort of character development of this character, like and how like Zeke was like brought up as a kid and all that. There were also some nice like visuals, so like just like still images. And even then,
that's true. I forgot to mention that.
Like those were also really nice. Like the picture, like the book was really like drawn, really well drawn.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The book was really good.
Yeah, the book looked really amazing. And then at the start of the episode, it just showed like the wall, and it looked really nice as well. There was also I had it in my head, but then I forgot.
It's all good, no worries.
But yeah, overall, I think it's a really well made episode.
Hey, you, Lorenzo, you seem a little quiet.
I totally know what was happening in the episode.
Okay,
I don't know. I wasn't a big fan. What?
Do you want me to just say what happened? You just weren't paying attention because your dog was fucked.
No. I'm gonna rewatch it. I don't want you to tell me what happens. I'd rather rewatch it.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. So Lorenzo's gonna stay out of it this week, and then we'll get his opinion later on. Yeah. But me and Julius loved it. It was a good. You know what? This might be this might even be better than the other one we gave a 5 out of 5. Like I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, this episode is just so fucking good. Like throughout the entirety of it.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Comparing the 2 episodes that we gave a 5 out of 5, I feel like I enjoyed the episode 13 over episode 15.
You know, that's fair, yeah.
I feel like the way it ended as well was more impactful because you get to see Aaron come up, and then you have this final meeting with
that was a
his
big
2
moment,
best
yeah.
friends. Compared to how this ended, where it showcased Zeke and his life, and like how it built up to this final moment where he just decides to commit suicide or just blow half
I do
of his
admit
body.
the ending of this episode isn't quite as good as the ending of the episode 13, but I think I like this one a little more overall. But they're both fucking amazing.
Yeah, they're both amazing. Plus, they like both episodes have noticeably really well, a really good facial expressions,
Yeah,
which
I've
like
been,
makes the mood even like better. So
yeah, I've been noticing that about this season a lot. Like especially is like whenever we get a chance to have these introspective moments with these characters, and there's not like tons of shit being flown around and everything. Like the facial expressions are really fucking good.
but yeah, I think that's pretty much wraps up this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check our Instagram account. We post random shit there from time to time. So
Yeah,
check.
we do stuff there sometimes.
We also have a Spotify. If you're not listening on Spotify, it's the Vibrators podcast on Spotify. I said Spotify 3 times, but we'll just roll it.
Nice. You know what? We're gonna keep rolling.
If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because why not? It's free. And
Exactly.
that pretty much wraps it up. Check our socials down below in the description. And we'll see you guys in the next episode for the final,
Which is a couple days.
which is
Yeah.
the final episode of Attack on Titan final season.
And then we will be taking a bit of a break to work on a huge video that will be on my new personal and Julius's personal YouTube page, which is going to be, I hope it turns out well, honestly. I can't wait to work on this thing with y'all. So.
Yeah, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be interesting.
But anyways, y'all, see you later.
See ya
Alright,
next
cool.
episode.